Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this. Alrighty, then we are back. It's a little bit different of a show today. As you can see, we got the Red Ranger over there. We got your boy, Main Magic Mike, over here. And videoing in from Mohegan, Brian Barnaby.
Good morning, America. What's going on, bro?
Dude, I'm doing good. Just hanging, excited for this day, excited for this show, because, you know, I feel like for the first time in a long time, it's something exciting to talk about with the NBA. Because
yes,
I mean, it's been kind of dull. You know, the Knicks, I get it, folks. They're winning, but you know, I just don't see them winning a championship right now. But we'll get to that later. How's Mohegan treating you?
Honestly, had a great night last night, man. And it was awesome too. And you usually don't get this because, like, kind of, as you know, we talk about it all the time, how, you know, just in terms of like popularity, like NBA is always going to take, you know, the cake over hockey, even though, you know, me and Tony and I don't know, I think Josh is probably split, but me and Tony for sure, and Tommy feel, you know, it's definitely like a lot better watching it. So we were at the sports book last night, you know, the huge multi-level screens, and they had both the Rangers and Bruins game on, and then after that, the Oilers and the Blackhawks with the volume and, you know, the comfortable movie theater seats. So it was just awesome just watching those games. And then they had some college basketball and the NBA on.
Would I fall asleep on those seats?
Oh, 100%. Are you kidding? It makes that couch in the corner feel like nothing. That's got needles on it.
I was actually last Binge Buddies. I was just like laying there and I was thinking, and I said it out loud to the guys. I was like, it's hilarious that I passed out on the sports port.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, especially because it was the time when, you know, we were surprising Tony with the cards. And
yeah.
Then, like, I didn't want to wake you
up. No,
I
was ready. As soon as I heard you say my name, I was like.
Yeah, because I did like a soft introduction. You know, I hate to do this. I know this is the importance of sleep. But yeah, so yeah, it was an awesome night last night. And obviously what made it is the Ranger win, the Ranger comeback. And, you know, it started out a little tough, but they end up coming back and winning a game that they had to win, you know, because the Bruins are right in their way there in the wild card race. So it was just a good feeling there. And then the Oilers game was actually exciting too. And, you know, we'll get to it, but, you know, you thought it was going to be a blowout with, you know, the Blackhawks, you know, being, you know, one of the worst teams in the league, ends up going to overtime. So yeah, hockey's exciting, and it's just kind of funny. What were you going to say?
Did you gamble a little?
Just a little bit, you know, but between the games and the blackjack, you know, made a couple hundred. So we'll take.
There you go. That's all we need to hear.
So that always makes it better. And then this way, you know, because I'll be here another night tonight because the conference is going to start actually right after the show. So you know, it'll be nice to have that as a cushion for later. So it makes
it's always nice. It
makes it a lot easier for sure.
If you're there multiple days, because then you could use your plus money to bet and gamble.
Yeah.
On the next day.
Like I used to text you, you know, channeling the inner Vassal.
Exactly, dude. Bet a little more while you're winning. When you lose, take a little out.
Exactly. And then you know, one other thing, you know, I wanted to mention, you were talking about like the trades being exciting and stuff. It's kind of funny though, like with hockey. You know, what me and, you know, Tony and Tommy love about it is like the games itself. But for the NBA, it is funny how the off the court drama, like it's a soap opera,
really
the trades, the trade demands, you know, the beef. That's the best part of it.
Honestly, right during the regular season, 100%.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go to the comments. No.
Yeah. Let's start there.
John Pollock saying best podcast in the world. You love to hear that. He's really come in hot and heavy. John is awesome. Really cool guy.
Yeah, no, it's been great, to get to know him, and he's a big hockey fan, which is nice too, because that's something we always talk about trying to grow the popularity of, and you could tell he's big on the Red Wings, and he enjoys it.
Yeah, Dominique Hasek. Morning Solo Mike, and then Josh B corrects himself. There he is. Okay.
Come on, Josh. I texted him before, letting him know, the picks need to be in. This is our last show before the Super Bowl. So you think he'd be on top of it, but corporate America, right? You never know what you're gonna get. So yeah, there's a lot to get to, but obviously with the Super Bowl on Sunday, it's only appropriate, Michael, if we could start in the world of the National Football League.
He wants Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Justin Jefferson, the catch of his life.
Burrow fires, intercepted, picked off at a pick six. Minka Fitzpatrick, an absolute ball hawk.
Niners twist up front and get to Tagovailoa. Bosa again.
Mahomes escaping, on the move, stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown.
Stop it.
Aaron Jones, oh, what a tackle. Quincy Williams with a pile driver.
All right. So obviously Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans is going to be on Sunday. Cannot wait for that. Before we even talk about that, I'm just curious if everybody could kind of in the comments, if you'd like to share, your prediction scores for the game, maybe a prop bet if you like. I'm sure Ernie probably has a couple of those. And then maybe, a Super Bowl MVP or not. But it is interesting. A lot of, the NFL, the gambling, has just taken over the league in terms of like the viewership, and, everybody's got their parlays and stuff. But it usually is, for the most part, or the vast majority of it anyway, a lot of, totals or just sides. But for the Super Bowl, the prop bets get nuts, just in terms of.
You do those?
No, but I feel like I was going to say, like, the time of the national anthem, the color of the Gatorade. People get crazy, with those. So it's just funny how many different things there are. So just was kind of curious, what everybody else was thinking. And then also, we do have our picks with the TCA. Last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, since the bye week, but we had clinched at least a tie. So we just need to win either the side or the total to clinch, after winning the regular season, clinch the postseason. So whenever, if Josh or Kev wants to let us know what they want to do, for the total, because I was texting Josh before, and listen, Tony not here. What can we do? We know he wants to take the Eagles, but there's no way we're doing that, Michael. We're taking the Chiefs to victory.
Absolutely.
To clinch the picks, and you were instrumental in that a couple weeks ago. The tiebreaker. I knew you were going to do it, but I love the delivery too. You didn't just flat out say it. You kind of gave us how you got there.
Yeah, exactly. Mary Materiello, how you doing? Tony's on break right now. He gets the Thursdays off.
A cafe near you.
Yes. Maybe not with the snow.
Oh yeah, that's true. How is the snow there, by the way?
I'd say it's done snowing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because, dude, it's crazy. They didn't plow the roads here because Corey was here, and he had to turn around because they didn't plow it. And you know how it's kind of like, hilly, like going out of here? Mm-hmm. I guess people got stuck, which is crazy. Yeah. You'd think they would get on top of that.
No, I wouldn't drive. Why do you have to leave?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he just had to go back to New Jersey. But yeah, like.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. But like, obviously, unless you have to, it doesn't make sense to drive.
Yeah. Eagles, John Pollock says 38, Casey Scumbag 34, Saquon MVP.
Wow, Casey Scumbag. So,
Thursday's off, Mary.
And so obviously the Barkley MVP and the high scoring, a very similar score prediction to what we saw last time. So you kind of see where he's coming from with that. And I see we have another comment popping in, a Matthew Gabriel.
Matthew saying, let's go.
Let's go. As we inch closer and closer to spring training, Michael, that's the real Super Bowl. Kind of kidding, but not really. In terms of the game here, the line has stayed the same, since this opened, the Sunday of the championship games. Kansas City holding steady there at -1.5. And on the money line, -120. Obviously, Philly +1.5, and the total is set at 48.5. Which would be slightly lower scoring than last time, but I do think there's a sense, that there won't be as many points in this one maybe as there was the last time around a couple of years ago. And that total actually opened up at 49.5, so it has moved down a point. And I was listening to the Michael Kay show yesterday, and they had I think Tyler Fulgham, he's from ESPN, and he does like the bet analysis and stuff, and he was saying it seems like as we get closer to the game, a lot of money is going to come in on the Eagles. So if you wanted to take Kansas City to wait, because it might even flip to them being favored. And it's interesting because I do see it from a perspective of the fact that really teams have not been able to hold Saquon Barkley at bay. So I think that's the common sentiment, but I think it's split between that and then just the fatigue for the non NFC East fans that they just don't want the Chiefs to win again. And you could say maybe the Eagles look better just in terms of scoring this year, but the one thing that I feel like is being overlooked, and I know you already know this, Michael, is the fact that in a Super Bowl, I mean it goes back a long way. I know Terrell Davis had won an MVP with the Broncos in the late 90s, but when has a running back been the difference in a team winning the Super Bowl? I know Saquon's had an unbelievable year. It's been different, but it just seems like there's too much experience, Chris Jones and Steve Spagnuolo on that defense to just get torched up the middle. And I know he might pop off a run, but I just don't see him having that 200-yard game. And it seems like there's just going to be some resistance there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, that's the point, is to focus on him. They've got a great defense. Their defense is better than it's ever been. I mean, I don't see it happening. And people just don't want the Chiefs to win 3 in a row. That's really what it is.
Yeah. No, you hear it all the time. The Chief fatigue. Mad Dog was talking about it a lot and stuff. And I do see we do have Ernie in the building as well here.
We have Matthew saying spring training, man, oh man, can't wait. And then Ernest saying, you. And then Josh B. Goddard, 40+ reception yards. Xavier Worthy, 4+ receptions. Hurts, 30+ rush yards.
And, I think Matthew and Ernie might not have been here when we started. Maybe they were. But I know Ernie will definitely have some, but if he wants to give, his prediction for the game and any prop bets he likes. But those are some good prop bets, from Josh B here. Goddard, the safety valve, over the over the middle there, the 40+ receptions. That's not a lot. He could do that on a couple catches. And then Xavier Worthy, I think, is somebody that we've seen as the season's gone on. It hasn't been every game that he's had a big game, but his speed is so valuable. You would think there's going to be a couple just screen passes alone that'll be 2 of those receptions. And you imagine, too, he tries to find them deep once or twice or over the middle. So I love that one. And then Hurts does a lot of scrambling. Obviously, I mean, they do the brotherly shove, but that's, only for a yard. So I think that's a good one. And then Ernie also with another comment here.
He's saying hammer the over Barkley, Hurts, Kelsey, Hunt to score.
And Barkley over 70. So
Barkley over 70.
He throws a couple in there. And then one thing too, when I was listening, and I like this one, because like I said, it does seem like Saquon, does pop off a big run. And I'm not sure if it's changed, but when I was listening to the K show yesterday, they were saying that instead of going with the rushing yards, because last week or 2 weeks ago, he didn't actually hit his over rushing yards, even though he had that 61-yard rushing touchdown to open the game. That to go with his long rush, which I believe they said was over 25.5 yards, which I think will happen. Like I said, I mean, I don't think he's going to run for 200 yards, but is he going to have at least a 30-yard run? More than likely. We've seen it a lot. Also, too, I was, had this article up on CBS Sports, and I'm just looking at odds to win the Super Bowl MVP As you can imagine, Mahomes the favorite here, plus 110. I'm sure a lot of people like Saquon at plus 280. Jalen Hurts at plus 350. And then you have Travis Kelce at 18-1, Xavier Worthy 31-1, AJ Brown 33-1, and Devontae Smith 55-1. But I look at this and it really seems like it would be either Mahomes or Barkley. I guess Hurts could win it too. But as you go deeper on the list, because it's like if Kelsey's going to win it, you would think that would mean that Mahomes threw for a lot of yards. So unless it's some random thing where, Kelsey just has 3 touchdowns and Mahomes doesn't throw for a lot of yards, but it just seems like more than not. And, me and Tony on Sunday at the Horseshoe, went through all of the past Super Bowl MVPs, and it's just so quarterback heavy. But Saquon would be the outlier for sure if the Eagles will win. And then it looks like a couple from Ernie, and I know you're going to like these two, Michael.
Chiefs money line. He learned his lesson from.
No, but is Ernie not a smart man, Michael?
He is. I mean, there's not a lot of them out there, so when you come across one, it's just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like he said this before, but if we could get, and I'm sure he's bopping around, but Matthew prediction, I kind of think he's going to go Eagles, though. I don't know if he said that last week. Do you kind of remember that?
I don't.
But I have a feeling he's going to say that, but we'll see what he says. And then, also I just wanted to give some, I'm looking at this article here, some interesting prop bets that I like too here. One that's like really like different is Travis Kelce under 15.5 miles per hour. His longest reception went for 11 yards in the AFC Championship game. And I think that's a real good one. He seems to have a lot of catches too, where, he just falls down afterwards or he's going to the sideline. His speed has definitely declined. So I think that's a really good one. And actually they do list the Josh B. Well, I guess he had the yards with Goddard, but they're saying, over 4.5 receptions. Hurts over 9.5 rushing attempts. I like too. The Hurts over 225 passing yards. I don't. It's plus 123, but I think there's a chance, he could be under 200 yards. So I'd stay away from that one. Xavier Worthy at plus 165. I think that's a good one. Anytime touchdown. And then also, I think another good one, because we've seen this many times, the Chiefs to come from behind, so to be trailing at any point in the game, and then win the game, plus 175. I think that's a really good one. We've seen it so many different times. So those are really like the prop bets, that I see, that are interesting. Before I do, my prediction in a little, or actually, do you want to do yours in the frenzy, Michael? I'm going to leave it up to you here. I do want to hear your kind of, breakdown, but is it pre-frenzy, during the frenzy, post-frenzy? What do we got?
I guess we could do it during the frenzy.
All right. So that means that it is time for a Super Bowl 59 frenzy.
Do.
Tony messing around with the keys.
There we go. I get confused because it says ESPN Prime. I wish it just said NFL.
NFL. Yep. Yeah.
NHL, ESPN 1. I mean, it's got NBA.
But you know what it really should say? Super Bowl, LIX. Obviously coming to you from Nolan's here, the Caesars Superdome. This is a Fox broadcast. Tommy calling his first Super Bowl, which will be interesting. Obviously, Kevin Burkhardt. You got Rinaldi. Oh, yeah, Trump will be there.
First president to ever be at a Super Bowl.
Yes.
In office.
Yes. Yeah, they've only had vice presidents before, so a little history there. And then, of course, you'll have Aaron Andrews and Tom Rinaldi, patrolling the sidelines. But it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Jalen Hurts, it's Saquon Barkley, it's Travis Kelce, it's the Chiefs going for 3 straight Super Bowls here. It's the Eagles looking for their second Super Bowl in franchise history and to avenge the loss to the Chiefs 3 years ago. I think this is going to be an all-time classic. I've been saying it all week. I think it's tight early, and I would not be surprised, and that's why I was saying I do like that plus 175 in terms of the Chiefs. coming from behind, to win this game. So I would not be surprised if at halftime, maybe we get a, Eagles winning 14-10, maybe Barkley has a 40-yard touchdown, something like that. But I think as we've seen many times, second half, Spags making the adjustments, Reed making the adjustments as well. I think Kansas City really holds Philadelphia at bay. I would say they probably, hold them to a touchdown in the second half. That's it. And then I think on their end, they end up scoring 2 touchdowns. And I think, you're going to get that go-ahead drive, maybe last 2 minutes of the game. I could see Kelsey, corner of the end zone, touchdown. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to see the Chiefs beat the Eagles here 24-21. So I definitely would go with Kansas City laying the -1.5 and the under 48.5 points. And as you can imagine, due to the 2 second half touchdown passes, Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP once again, the Chiefs winning their 3rd Super Bowl. First time this has happened in the National Football League. And I'm going to bring it over to you, Michael. What's the forecast here?
I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, making history, and I think it's going to be a little bit more of a blowout than other people think. I'm going to go Mahomes MVP, dominant performance. We're going to go 14 Eagles. Ah, 14 Eagles, 31 Chiefs.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just like that is your Super Bowl 59 frenzy. And I cannot believe, Michael, that will conclude the 2024-2025 NFL season. And it's like me and Tony always would joke around with week 18. It really does fly by. But it's nice because it signals that baseball's right around the corner.
It does next week. Pitchers and catchers.
Yes.
Josh B. loving Taylor Swift, especially after he saw her at the Grammys. John Pollock. I hope the power goes out.
And we did see that in that Super Bowl between the San Francisco 49ers and Baltimore Ravens. And that was in New Orleans. And this is actually the first Super Bowl since then. I wonder if there is a prop bet on that, but you would think being that had already happened once before, there's no way that they would let that happen again.
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, so I'm really looking forward, to watching this game. And I know, there's a lot of animosity out there, being that a lot of people don't like Philadelphia sports in general, Philadelphia fans. And then, that the Chiefs are in, their 3rd Super Bowl, or I guess it's 4th in 5 years. And I think everyone's a little fatigued, but I just think it's one of those things, when it's all said and done, people are going to look back just like they will with Brady. And I'll be the first one to admit it. Obviously, I didn't enjoy watching it. Yeah. But it's just something that you're just not going to see all the time. A team, constantly stepping up and getting it to the big game. So I think history will be made. And like I said, I definitely look forward to watching this one. And John Pollock, kind of on cue with what I was saying there, says F Philly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you were saying, their fans, give them a break. Boston fans. I mean, they're pretty on par with each other.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, I saw that Philly fan. It was a Philly fan of the Buffalo. No, not Buffalo. Who'd they play last?
They played the Commanders.
Yeah, to that Commanders fan, the girl, they were like that one guy taunting her and calling her slurs and stuff.
Yeah. No, it's a shame. And you do see that all the time. And obviously, at these big games, the drinking, Michael.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Things just get a little out of hand. So, but yeah, so 6:30 Sunday, cannot wait for that. And we'll see what, the TCA wants to do here with the total. But, we're going to ride with Kansas City. Tony tight somewhere about that, or he knew it was coming?
He knew. I mean, he knew, especially like he's not here. There's no. I mean, there wouldn't even be a debate, but like we'd hear him out. But he definitely knows. He's probably going to comment any minute. And he already knew. Blah blah blah. So
yeah. Oh man, that's funny though. But we're gonna move on here. But like I said, also if anybody wants to, give their predictions, prop bets, would love to hear it for sure. But let's get Michael riled up. Let's go to the world of the National Basketball Association.
The Bulls go! LeBron James at the buzzer! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
All right. So several trades were made yesterday, in the lead up to today's 3:00 trade deadline. But the big one being the Jimmy Butler trade. And, he had all this time, had wanted to go, to the Phoenix Suns. And it looked like that was actually going to happen. But actually Kevin Durant getting in the way here and not wanting to go, back to Golden State, which I found interesting. Maybe just because he didn't want to hear it. What'd you say?
He would look like an idiot too.
Yeah. Kind of going back because that's kind of why he left there in the first place. Not his team, this and that. So the package ends up being the Warriors sending Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, top 10 protected 2025 pick. And then they also sent Dennis Schroeder, who was just, complaining about, the player movement in the NBA to the Utah Jazz. So they make it a 3-way deal. And Utah shipping PJ Tucker to Miami. And then Lindy Waiters will go from Golden State to the Detroit Pistons, Josh Richardson, Miami to Detroit. So a lot of teams getting involved here. But what do you think this does, Michael? Golden State obviously trading out Wiggins. That's really the biggest guy that they gave up here, and replacing him with Jimmy Butler. What do you think that does for them?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes them better. I could see them making a push in the playoffs. I still got to see. I mean, I do kind of know the rest of the team. I don't know. We got to see. Steph Curry's been kind of in a lull, so hopefully this snaps him out of it. Which I think it will, and I think Jimmy's going to come ready to play, and bring some light and energy to that team. So, and also the Heat, Wiggins isn't, trash. He's decent, and I've always liked slow-mo Kyle Anderson, and they get the pick, which I know isn't much, but it's a decent deal. I feel like they could have gotten another pick also.
Because what's a shame though, the fact that basically they couldn't keep Butler. It was going to be so detrimental to the team that just completely kills the value, and that's kind of like what happened when Kyrie and KD were originally traded from Brooklyn. That always gets the value down. But I think you get him out of there, at least you get someone that is going to give his full effort. You would say Jimmy Butler's a better player, but then at the same time Andrew Wiggins is a younger player. It's funny that he seems like he's been around forever. I think this is his 10th year in the league, but he's still 29. So with Eric Spoelstra there, I think he can get the best out of him. And I also do think for Golden State, not that I'm expecting, them to, be back in the NBA Finals, but I just think, with Jimmy, and then if you do get, that version of Steph Curry where he's just, hitting shots from everywhere, no one can guard him. They do have a chance to make a run. It's going to be tough, and maybe they'll try to do something before the deadline today to kind of solidify everything else. But I think it gives them a shot, way better of a shot than they had now. I think if they didn't do anything now, they probably wouldn't even make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they needed to do it. Jimmy wanted to get out. One trade that was really interesting to me. Also, did you see the Lakers got
Mark Williams?
And what's his name? Also, didn't they get from Indiana, or was that false news?
Who from Indiana?
Miles Turner.
No. That must have been.
That would have been a great pickup for them.
I like that. I think the problem with that was probably the salary. not matching up, because I know he makes a good amount of money. I'm not sure exactly how much. But I think they did make a good deal. The only thing that I think was disappointing, and Chokery was texting me, he's always been a big Laker fan, since the Kobe days, was the fact that they actually traded this past year's first round pick, Dalton Connect, and then also Cam Reddish, a 31 unprotected first round pick. That still sounds weird saying 2031. It seems like that's like 20 years away, but really it's only 6. And a 2030 pick swap to the Hornets for Mark Williams. He's 7 feet, 240, and has really been developing. And the nice part about it for the Lakers, the former 2022 first-round pick out of Duke, is only 23 years old, and he's really coming into his own this season. He's been averaging 15.6 points per game, 9.6 rebounds, and shooting 58.6 percent from the floor in his 3rd season in the league. And he also, can block some shots. He's at 1.2 blocks per game. And we know that, after trading AD, they needed somebody. So I think this makes him better. And I liked Connect, and I think he'll,
have a great. Yeah, in Charlotte.
New Orleans. Or Charlotte, right.
Yeah, with LaMelo, him and LaMelo are going to be a good tandem.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things where, he goes there, lack of pressure, be completely different. But I don't know if you had seen, but, he had that really hot start to the season, but he has really struggled. So I think that's why they were more okay with moving him. And I think, too, and, we talked about it on Sunday, I don't think they could have done anything without another center. I don't think Jackson Hayes was going to get them there. So I think they had to make this move.
Yeah, no, I saw a funny meme, and I know I don't know how much you like Pokemon, but
back in the day,
okay,
Pokemon Gold.
Okay, so it was
Axelrod City.
No, it was the
Goldenrod City. That's
completed the ultimate like white boy thing or whatever, and it was Charmander, Dalton Connect, Charmeleon, Austin Reeves, and Charizard, Luka Doncic.
Oh my God.
I thought that was funny, but now it's no longer that. One of the trades I liked the most was Brandon Ingram to Toronto for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and a 1st-round pick and a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I just had pulled up the article on my computer. I was shocked by that, honestly, because I know he's been there a while. He came over in the AD deal. But why do you think that they got rid of him? I guess he's injured right now, but
I don't know. Maybe they just felt like they can't win. They might be unloading. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see, because we'll see what happens with Zion. I don't know. They could be unloading. CJ, I could see him being traded by the end of the deadline. But I think that's great for Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett. You pair him up with Ingram. I mean, you have a really good, scoring 3-man trio there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So it'll be interesting if they can kind of return to their winning ways. It's been a little bit, they've been struggling, but like you said, I mean, they have some young talent there, and it's just the whole thing with Ingram, if he's going to stay healthy, but the talent's there, and he's another guy, it feels like he's been around forever, but he's still 27. So, if you could kind of maybe work on something to prevent these injuries and give, more games played, I think, it could absolutely be big for Toronto. I see we have a bunch here from John Pollock.
Yeah, he's saying, I'm heartbroken from last night. Cleveland ripped my heart out of my soul. What is he, a Detroit Pistons fan?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
Because they actually had that game on here.
That was a good game. What's his name? Hit the game winner on him. Dude, I told Tony
Darius Garland
when we did our draft, my boy on Detroit, I can't think of his name right now. Cade Cunningham. I knew he was going to be a problem. Like ever since I did that camera gig, the Basketball Hoops Classic or whatever, the top high school players go to I think it's Springfield College. I saw him there with Scotty Barnes. Jalen Green was there. Bronny, Zaire. What's the dude on Memphis, the 7'3" kid? Zach Edey was there.
Oh, Edey, right.
So I knew Cade was gonna be really good. I really want him and Scotty Barnes to pair up. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, they were so good together. I could totally see it happening in the NBA as well. He also adds they're gonna regret sending Dalton to trading Dalton LA. He's referring to that was a very good young player. The Pelicans want Cooper Flag. Okay, well, they got to get rid of Zion and CJ McCollum to do so.
Yeah. And also the nice part about it is too, what they've done with the draft odds. I think the top or the bottom 3 teams all have like the same odds. So as long as they're in that area, they'll be good, and I'm sure that won't be a problem, especially if they're gonna trade some more players. And it's interesting, what you mentioned with Detroit. It has been just an excruciating rebuilding process for them. I mean, it feels like they haven't been competitive since Rasheed Wallace and Rip Hamilton.
They did 8 straight, though.
What I'm getting at is they're 25 and 26 now, so they're hanging in there. And you could obviously you have Cade, Duren. I think they have some high hopes for, and then Asir Thompson as well. I think he could be a good player. So Cade, obviously it's going to fall on his shoulders for sure. But I think especially once they can get him some more help, I think they're definitely going to be an ascending team.
What are your thoughts on Durant? You think he's getting moved?
My thing would be, I just don't know. The Golden State thing made sense. Do you think Dallas?
Yeah, that's apparently Dallas is a heavy favorite to land him.
But I'm just trying to think on Dallas, whose salary would match up with his, because he's got to be in the $40 million range. I wonder if there's anything really on this, because just looking at the roster here, obviously they're not trading Kyrie or AD. I guess. Oh yeah, they actually do have the salaries listed on here. But yeah, Kyrie makes 41, AD makes 43, and then other than that, I mean, Gafford makes 15.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Lively's $4 million, Hardy $1 million, Tim Hardaway 16.
No, Tim Hardaway though, I think that's they had to pay part of his deal. He's on Detroit now.
Oh, okay. Maxi Kleber, and Josh.
He just got dealt too. So
okay, there's room. I mean, they have room to take on his contract.
But I wonder what actually the cat, because I would think they're pretty tight. Let's see if they.
It would be like Derek Lively, Jaden Hardy. I guess did he get traded already? No. But this has Tim Hardaway in the trade.
Just want to see if there's anything else on here. So I don't see anything else on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, I think what it would have to be is, they would have to trade, a lot of players, just to match up that salary. But obviously that would be a ridiculous combo, KD, AD, and Kyrie. But we'll see if they can pull that off. But we've talked about this before, but I still can't believe that they just can't make it work with the Suns. I mean, I've always really liked Devin Booker. I guess it's really Bradley Beal, even though his offensive numbers are good. You think it's just more he's not like a championship winning type of player. I know he's been injured too.
Who's that? Durant?
No, Beal. Well, Durant too, kind of. But
I don't know. I wouldn't say he was in the Wizards for a long time, so they suck as an organization. I mean, if you want to talk about a team to move them, I would pick them. I mean, they ruined John Wall's career. Bradley Beal was there forever without winning anything. The only time they were good was when we were in 8th grade. I'll never forget it because I was in DC on our DC trip, and it was them boys, Gilbert, Karan Butler, and that crew going up against Kirk Heinrich, Ben Gordon, Tyson Chandler, and Eddie Curry's Bulls, dude. Which I love that Bulls team too.
Me too, man. Yeah,
it kept them together longer. I mean, once Eddie Curry went to the Knicks, I mean, Jesus, I mean, custom toilets in the garden for him. I mean, just a shit show. No pun intended. That was the last time they were good, and I I don't know. I just think Washington is one of those teams that ruins NBA guys' careers. So I wouldn't say he's not a winner. I would love to see him in Miami. I mean, that's a team he should go to. But he didn't want to waive his no trade clause, so he's staying.
Yeah, and I think that because I saw an article too. I was showing this to Corey last night. I think that they've tried to trade him to literally because he's making $50 million the next couple of years to every single team in the league, and nobody wants him. Isn't that insane?
That's crazy.
Because it is a big contract, sure, but I'm sure somebody could use his shooting.
He said we should get Scotty from the Raptors. Detroit, make it happen. I'm telling you, they were so good together. I mean, I can't even express. I know it was high school ball, but they were playing against the top players in the country, and making them look like middle schoolers. So I just think their length. Scotty's a defensive-minded guy. It'd be like a bootleg Jordan and Pippen if you want to compare it to something, but definitely super bootleg. But that's the comparison I can make.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome to see them paired together. And then we also saw Valanciunas going to the Kings, for 2 second-round picks and Sicko. And it's interesting with that one because I think they did. I know Fox had a good game, but I was just gonna say the fact that they have already Sabonis, but I guess they could kind of have a stretch four.
Yeah, that's good for him. I mean, honestly. Let's see.
Oh yeah. No, they made this crazy I guess it was crazy comeback against the Hawks.
Are you? Yesterday was the 5th, right?
Yeah.
The Kings. They
you're talking about the Kings. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was what's his name's first game there.
Levine.
Yeah. Because I love Doug Christie. I want to see him succeed. Love those teams back in the day.
Oh yeah, no, Peja from the corner was ridiculous,
dude. Yeah. Vladdy, Mike Bibby,
even Brad Miller for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. They got hosed. Lakers.
Oh yeah, and even Bibby, he was always one of my favorite shooters.
Yeah, no, great point guard for a little bit. He had a good stretch.
Fox had a good debut though for the Spurs, 24 points, 13 assists, 3 steals, and they beat Atlanta. So it's going to be interesting too to see if they can kind of be more of a competitive team now that they picked him up.
I think they will be, and he wants to be there. His wife is from there. That's
okay.
He even changed his jersey number to her college number.
I did hear that. Yeah.
So he's motivated. They got Chris Paul still. They got that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they got that other kid. What's his name? Not Wemby, the guard.
Stephon Castle, who's actually going to be in the dunk contest.
Yeah, so. They're a good young team, but we'll see. It takes more than to be a talented young team to be great in this league.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. And then I saw also Shai had 50 points again for the Thunder last night, and with Durant not playing, they blew up the Thunder by the Suns by 31.
Yeah, Devin Booker. You know what I mean? Like, talk about a meaningless scorer. I've never seen someone score 70 and be like such a non-factor in his career. Yeah.
No, it's something for sure. It's a shame. He's another guy that I always really liked.
Me too. I thought he was a better Clay, but definitely not.
And and then really other than that, I mean, you got Warriors Lakers tonight, but still no Luka. I guess he's going to debut on Saturday against Indiana.
Yes. I heard. I actually shout out Gino Knows Sports on X. Our boy Gino Ganello. He tweeted out, which I agree with. He said the Lakers, when they face Dallas, should just give Luka the ball every time and let him try to get 100. And I totally think that should happen.
Yeah, no, that would be something for sure. And then you also have Dallas versus the Celtics. That's the first half of that doubleheader on TNT. No Knicks tonight. I would imagine that they get back out there. Okay, so they're not going to play, I think, till Saturday. They just had a couple games in a row, I guess, so that's probably why.
What do you think about the Knicks, dude? Like, do you think they're like everybody's like, got a stiffy on for them just because they're winning a couple games in the regular season? And I know you're excited for the regular season, but do you really think this team can go to the finals and win? Because, like, I don't know about you, but I think I know about you. The whole goal is to win a championship, no matter what.
Right.
So, like, that's why I'm not hyped. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and everyone's gonna, probably attack me, Josh B's of the world, that there hasn't been a good team like this in forever, and yada yada yada. And it's like, that's awesome, that's great, yeah, I agree, but like, I don't give a shit because like, I want to win a championship. I don't want to win the first round. I don't want to win the second round. I want a contender, a real legit contender.
Yeah, no, and I know what you mean. What I would say is, just when you're looking at, from like an X's and O's and like talent perspective, I wouldn't, like, if I was saying like who's going to win the championship, I probably wouldn't, start with them. But what I would say is, they definitely have some traits of being that. The thing that has just, concerned me has been, the lack of depth and just the guys, wearing down. But I do think there is a belief there that hasn't been there in a long time. And obviously Jalen started it the last couple of years, but then bringing Towns over. But if I was going to feel good about them, winning a championship, I would still like to see them acquire somebody. And, I don't know if they can, other than if they trade Mitch Robinson, but I don't think that's, what they want to do. And I know they got rid of Sims yesterday.
Good.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It seems like they still just need a little more depth. And
apparently the Knicks are looking at Durant too.
But that's another one with the contract. I don't know how.
They'd have to give up players that people love, like the Hart of the world and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Anunoby as well, or Anunoby.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about this with JD yesterday. Wow, Anunoby makes 36, so that's who they would have to give up. I think that would actually
do it. Durant, Anunoby, couple first round picks.
I think no, honestly, I think he would mess up things.
You think so?
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know. I think Thibs gets the best out of his players. It's a tough call, honestly.
I just think, though, you're talking about how you're lacking depth, and then you have to give up more depth. Josh Hart plays a big role on this.
What if you get to keep Hart?
Yeah.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, I guess, just to see, but I guess, like, I would do it.
No. Well, that's why you don't own the team, Josh.
I guess I would just say cautiously, but like I said, it does seem like the chemistry is really good right now. That's the only thing that I would about with KD. It just seems like no matter what, and he can always do his down play, but it just seems like the drama always follows him.
KD in New York says, in New York, say that's a great idea. Ask the Nets how that went. I mean, totally different situation. Nets have no stability. They haven't had stability since the back-to-back NBA finals.
With J Kidd and
and they, that's the last time they had any stability. So I wouldn't compare it to that. I don't know. I almost see it as a scenario where when he went to Golden State, I could see something like that happening. But I've never been a huge Durant fan. I'm just throwing that out there.
But I would say, I just think chemistry wise, maybe you leave it alone. Maybe you can get somebody else rotationally that can help you. But we'll have to see. And they'll have a big game on Saturday against the Celtics. So that's a big litmus test, Michael.
Yes.
Coming up for them for sure. So if we could go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Speed, here himself. He scores! Captain with the overtime winner. That's a nail break. It's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping, rink Waddington made the full split save.
Are you kidding me?
Turn, side of the net, between the legs, and they score! Filthy! David Pasternak, the silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
And I also saw John Pollock saying, I swear if Cleveland somehow gets KD.
Is he a Cleveland fan or a Detroit fan?
No, Detroit, but I think they're probably his biggest rival, I would imagine, right?
Oh, well then what is dude, Cleveland's not getting anybody. Everybody's leaving Cleveland.
Yeah, no, that would be a weird fit. Yeah, so obviously the big thing last night was the Rangers Bruins game. And it was the type of game I expected, with the predictions. I did go with the Rangers in the under, and that's what happened. But how we got there, I felt was very surprising. In the first period specifically, I think it was something like between the both teams, only like 11 shots on goal or something like crazy, or even less than that, maybe 9 in the first period. So it was just a lot of like choppy play, broken possessions. But you felt okay. Well, at least they haven't allowed any goals. They're right in the game. When they won last time against the Bruins at the Garden, it was a 2-1 game. Maybe it'll be similar. Second period, pace gets a little better. And then Artemi Panarin, a little over 6 minutes in the second. And it was funny. I had just texted Josh B and Tony saying, like, can we score? Like, and I think I was even saying it on Gaming Corner last night too. And then it was like instantaneously, within a couple minutes, Panarin gets his 23rd goal of the season. So that gave the Rangers a 1-0 lead. And then it was back to being, a defensive hockey game. No scoring for almost 9 minutes. And there was a couple minutes of no even stoppages for a while too. So just a very defensive hockey games, but still not a lot of shots. But then all of a sudden it was just such an outlier from this game. Boston scores 2 goals in 16 seconds. Which I just really, did not see coming. The first one was Pasternak, and Corey was saying, when we were watching the game, the fact that, he had taken a shot, somehow got the puck back. The Rangers not doing a good job with the back check. Tony's always talking about the back check. He, on his second shot attempt, he gets the goal there. So that was his 28. So it ties the game at 1. You're like, all right, I guess, back to square one. Still feeling pretty good. It's right in front of us. We're at home, this and that. And then they give up a goal to Lindholm 16 seconds later, his 10th of the year, giving Boston a 2-1 advantage. They had come close with a couple of shots, on goal before the end of the period, but not able to find anything. But fortunately for them, Igor, the defense, and the offense putting it together in the third period as the Rangers are able to score about 5.5 minutes into the third. Vincent Trocheck, his 16th goal of the year, definitely was just one of those, gritty goals that you just have to have. And Miller and Brodzinski were in on the assist there. So that made it 2-2. And then, about 6.5 minutes later, Chris Kreider, which, we haven't seen much of him. Usually he's known for his power plays, but I think, a couple of years ago, he actually was big with the shorthanded goals. He actually gets a shorthanded goal. It was an awesome goal right by the net. So that was his 16th of the year. Zibanejad actually had 2 assists in this game. That was his 25th on that one. And then Foxy with his 39th. So that gave the Rangers, a 3-2 lead. And they're able to go the rest of the way. Boston definitely had some shots on goal. So it was good to see Igor step up. But he only faced 17 shots. So just not a lot of shots on goal, really, from both teams. Corpuscello, had more, but it was only 22, and he only saved 19. So it just wasn't, a lot of broken possessions, like I said. But just to hang in there, to get the win. It was absolutely, monumental, especially the fact that you have an opportunity here. You're playing a team, that you're competing with, and they were on a back-to-back. They had just won last night, and you have the teams ahead of you winning as well. So you absolutely had to win that game. You pick up the 2 points, so the 6-point deficit goes to 4 now. And Boston out on a tiebreaker over, Tampa getting the tiebreaker over them, but they have 60 points. So it's 4 points you're looking to make up. In the next game that they play, will be tomorrow at the Garden against the Penguins, a team, that's only 3 points behind the Rangers. So that's going to be a massive game, and I can't wait to be there for that. That's going to be awesome. It still remains, obviously, there wasn't many games last night, but just a muddled mess there in the wild card race. You got Red Wings with 61 points. Like I mentioned, Tampa with 60, Boston with Tampa the tiebreaker for that second spot. And then Columbus is 1 point behind. The Islanders are 3 points behind. And then the Rangers are 4 points behind. So, a lot of teams there. The Islanders have been playing well. In addition to that, so it's just going to be tough, but you have to look at it one game at a time, and I think that's what the Rangers are doing right now. And it just figures too. JT Miller had such a big impact on the first 2 games, but last night he doesn't even have a shot on goal. And me and Corey, of course, in these like smaller prop parlays had taken him for a point and some shots on goal. But what are you going to do? I think he's still going to play a big role on this team, and I think kind of almost be the leader of the team, especially in the scoring department. But it was good to see the veterans, Kreider, Zibanejad, Trocheck. They had been a little quiet recently.
I can take it.
So you love to see that. And then the second half. Oh, God. What were you going to say?
Kev Du, you're live on the Sports Board, baby.
Kev Du.
Oh, what up, Kev?
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Kev Du.
What up? Yo, so we got somebody protecting Soto now.
He's talking about Peter.
Yeah. It's funny. I did actually. I was going to mention that, but I almost would have forgotten, to be honest. So I'm actually glad you did mention that. What did you think of the contract, Kev? What was it? 2 years, $54 million, 30 coming in the first year, player option for the second.
Looks like you know it.
I think it's perfect. To be honest, I think that's a homegrown first year, and then if you perform well your second year, let's renegotiate. If you don't, you still got $24 million to fall back on.
Were you surprised that he could take it though?
What happened?
Were you surprised that he took it?
Not really. I think he really wanted to be in New York, and I think he knows he messed up with that 7-year contract they offered him, and I think he knows Boris was feeding him a lot of crap.
I wonder too, like obviously no one knows, like we're not behind the scenes, but like what Boris was telling him at this point, maybe not at the beginning of the offseason, but what he thought he was going to get.
He probably said, my man, I tried my hardest, but you better take what they give you now. Nobody wants you. Stay home.
Yeah.
That's a direct quote, I bet.
No, and I do think Kev, I do think Kev though it works out for both parties because the Mets didn't want to commit to him long term. He wanted to be back on the Mets, and then he has that opportunity, like you said, to earn the money. So I think it's win-win.
It's the best route for him to go, 1-2 year deals at his age,
right?
Especially for a position that they don't value much. So go with the 1-2 year deals. You know what I mean? You're still making great money. You're the highest annual value first baseman in the majors.
It's just crazy, though, that first basemen just don't make as much money as they used to. I wonder why that is.
I guess it's not a big position anymore. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe because the first basemen now are all big guys and they know they don't last long. But you got people like Frank Thomas, who played a lot of years. Ryan Howard played a lot of years, and they were big guys.
But yeah, and then
You know what I mean?
also, I mean, like Howard, he broke down towards the end of his career, and we've seen, other guys kind of doing that. Rizzo, a point of that, recently, for the Yankees. So you understand it, but also I just think too, a lot of times, like I know for the Yankees, and obviously it's different for all franchises, but we've always won. Having a strong first baseman. Obviously, the last time we won, we had Mark Teixeira, and that, I don't think it was a coincidence. That was like his best year with the Yankees.
Tino Martinez.
The title. Tino was a big part as well.
Mm-hmm. Teixeira was a very good first baseman.
He was, and he just, had. It was like, I think it was an 8-year deal, and I think it was like half of the years were good. Maybe a couple were questionable, a couple were poor. But he was the true professional and definitely a good player. I'm just curious. I mean, I know it's so hard to say, but do you think Alonso will end up having that type of year, which will result in him getting the long-term security from the Mets?
I think if he has a good year because he has no pressure now. He knows he's guaranteed $54 million. He knows he's guaranteed it regardless. So there's no pressure on him. The only pressure on him now is they want to win a chip. And they're kind of set up to do it. Especially they were talking about maybe going out for Dylan Cease or somebody like that.
Yeah. My Corey was mentioning that yesterday. But do you think that's actually going to happen? It just seems like they don't have a ton of prospects, and obviously you could trade the top ones that you do. But then I feel like if you do that, then you're kind of back in the same position where your farm system.
Yeah, it's true. Me personally, I would sign Bregman. Not signed, right?
He's not signed, but you would be comfortable. I think he's 31, if I'm not mistaken. But just with the fact that his offense has been in decline the last couple of years, that wouldn't concern you giving him 5 years?
Nah, I'd give him 3 years at $22 million a year.
But I'm saying if it had to be 5 years at almost 30, you're not doing it.
No, not doing it.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's going for, and I think. It's kind of like Alonso, where he's just been waiting this whole time, to get that contract from the Astros. I don't think.
Yeah, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Alonso, he's been a good teammate. He's been a good, from the ground player for the Mets. He's been a career player, and he tried to hedge his bet on Scott Boras, but. You see what happens with him. Look what happened with these guys last year. Montgomery and then the other guy.
Blake Snell, he ended up actually pitching well. But I know what you mean. Like before last year, he was thinking he was getting a big deal and he had to sign for San Francisco.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. We'll see. Now that we got Pete back, I could breathe a little bit now because I was worried about, some protection, but now it's all right. We got it. We got a nice front four on that lineup. You know what I mean? So, and the other people aren't slouches neither.
Yeah,
Neil and that. So
yeah, we'll
see what happens.
Yeah, pitchers and catchers 8 days away, and then I think it's a few days after that will be full squads, and it'll be spring training baseball before we know it.
Yeah, you know what? The past maybe 10 years, I would say, I've gotten into baseball more because, when they were striking in that, I kind of drifted away from it. Same with hockey. But then back to baseball. I'm going back to hockey a little bit more each, that passes. But, man, I'm excited for this MLB season.
Yeah, no, it's going to be tremendous. I can't wait.
Oh man, I'm just gonna sit in my bed at night and think of the trash talk I'm gonna hit you with.
A lot of other stuff in his bed at night too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm coming for someone's jugular this year.
Nah, there's going to be no jugular to be had. But we'll see what happens when the season starts. But yeah, I'm really pumped for the Yankees, and I love that they brought Hill back.
you took Kansas City?
Took Kansas City, and so that, by default you get your Eagles there, and at the 1.5, and then the total's 48.5. So what are you thinking there?
I think it's gonna go over 50.
Okay, so you're gonna go the over, so we'll take the under, and my prediction was 24-21, so that would be the under anyway. So I'm good with that.
I'm actually looking at, look at the numbers that Kansas City and Buffalo put up, and just think about it. The Eagles' offense, I think, is a lot deeper than the Buffalo Bills were.
But
I'm thinking they're both gonna put up points.
The only thing I would say, though, I mean, you look at, like you're comparing the last 5 games, for instance. Eagles hung 55, but it was Washington. Their defense is weak. But then when they play better defenses, the Rams, the Packers, they only put up 28 and 22. And then, 20 against the Giants, I don't think they had their full complement there. And then 41 against Dallas, but we know about the Cowboys. So I would just think that the Chiefs defense,
trash team.
The Chiefs defense, would hold up better, but I guess we'll have to see. I know you're saying, 50-something points, but what's like your final score prediction? Do you think it goes down to like the final drive? Like, what are you seeing here?
I would love to see it come down to a final drive with the score 35-35, and then that field goal makes it 38-35.
Okay. Yeah. And that would be
what I want to see.
That would be the same, as pretty much as the Super Bowl from a couple years ago. I think it was, I don't know, was it 38-35 actually? Let's see, Super Bowl 57. By the way, JD with a live comment here saying, stop with the no more Mets talk, please. What do you think about that, Kev?
JD, you could go kick a bag of rocks barefooted.
No, JD's pumped about the Yankees. He doesn't want to hear about the Mets. But it was a great time with everybody yesterday. We had a lot of people in there.
He also has the pictures of the Yankees team next to his bed with a bottle of lotion. I mean, so.
No, but he's level-headed. I mean, you know though, Kev. I know you know. I mean, it's we have a good team this year.
Hold on one second. Yeah. Hey,
he's still on the line.
I'm at work in the Super Cage. So.
By the way, Kev, your score prediction would actually be, you said 38-35, right?
Yeah.
That was the score for Super Bowl 57, so it would be the same exact score but flipped around.
Yeah, maybe the Eagles will beat us 38 this time. We'll see. I just want a good game.
Yeah.
Good game.
And what do you think, though? You think you're going to be able to go 2-0 and salvage a split here, or what's going on?
I think so. I know so.
We'll have to talk about a tiebreaker if that's the case. And I forget. I forgot if JD said what his score prediction was, but if he wants to give us that, maybe a Super Bowl MVP, be interested to hear. I'm guessing too, Kev. Seems like it's been a common theme with everybody picking the Eagles that you would predict that Barkley would get the MVP, or
either him or I think A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown is interesting. Okay.
If he has 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, I mean,
yeah, especially
what Cooper Kupp had when he won.
I think it was more than that in terms of like receptions and yards, but he probably had 2 touchdowns. But the only thing I would say there is, maybe they want to try to catch the Chiefs, off guard and throw some deep shots. But I think the only thing with that is I think that's where they get into trouble, though. That's where Hurts makes mistakes when he's throwing the ball up in the air.
Yeah, well, we'll see, man. Let's just hope for a good game.
Yeah.
No trash.
No Raiders trash.
Sleep on our Raiders this year.
Well, I think it just depends who the quarterback is going to be, but we'll have to see.
I heard Tom Brady's going to
play. As long as it ain't Russell. I'll take Tom Brady over Russell Wilson any day.
Yeah, no, I think you gotta build with somebody, or at least just get somebody younger. I think Russell Wilson is just in a declining state, so that wouldn't be a good idea.
Mr. Unlimited. Ever since he did that Mr. Unlimited shit, he's been unlimited trash.
You know, it's funny though. His first few starts, though, he actually looked real good, but then second half of the last year, he just really tapered.
I just hope Pete Carroll don't bring him in.
John Pollock says 6-12 for the Las Vegas Raiders next year.
Who's his team?
No, I don't know. But he said the Raiders are going to go 6-12.
He must like the Lions because he likes the Pistons and the Red Wings. So.
Oh man, his football team has a good year, first good year in 55 years, and he's trying to tell me my team is going to go 6-12. Get the hell out of here.
You know, I think though they do, despite losing the coordinators, they have a bright future ahead. They got to just do some retooling, but you know, we'll have to see. Any plans for the Super Bowl, Kev?
I may go by my buddy's house. I'll find out more tomorrow because we're going to the show. So Long Island tomorrow. Right. So.
Okay, yeah.
That'll be fun.
I'll talk to him. If not, well, wherever I go, by halftime I'm gone. I'm going home.
I got you. And I forgot.
I gotta work the next day.
Where I know it's in Long Island. What's the place that the show's at tomorrow?
Tap room.
Okay, and then
room in Rockville Center.
Who else is coming?
It's gonna be Don, Peter, and Han, and Rick and Dave are gonna be there.
Oh, Rick and Dave are gonna be there. And then who's coming? Who are you going with?
It's gonna be. It's supposed to be me, my buddy Karate Man Mace, my brother Josh. I think Djibouti Dan, Corinne. Who else? Alan in the money truck. Hey, yo, Bernie, you could kick rocks. Bernie will be there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know,
so squad's rolling deep.
So we got a few people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we ain't going there like on no crazy shit this time. You know what I mean? I'm wearing my TCA hat. You know what I mean? I'm taking it as more of a low-key show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got you, man. But I think you're going to have a great time. And it's a shame. I would have went, too, if it was in the city. But, you know, since I'm going to be at the Rangers. But it just would be too much to go to that. But
well, you could get there early enough and you could leave at like 5 o'clock and get right into Madison Square Garden at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, but it's just crazy, though. If it was just right across the street, it would just be perfect. But why do you think they go Long Island?
Yeah,
because of Rick.
Even you think that's why?
It's not his show.
And Han's
behind his Han's show. Yeah.
No. What I think it is they try to spread it out between Long Island City and New Jersey. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Christmas show was in Jersey, so let's we haven't done something in Long Island since last year. Let's do something in Long Island. They've probably done like 2 or 3 in the city already this year. You know what I mean?
You got the flashing lights behind you, Kev?
No, I'm all the way up on the roof. Check the text messages. That picture I showed you is what I'm looking at.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I'm right by the Williamsburg Bridge.
But yeah, no, that sounds awesome, man. Hope all you guys, you know, have a good time there. Yeah, it should be a good Super Bowl, and good luck with the picks, and we'll see what happens come Monday.
Good luck to you too, also. And let's go Mets.
Let's go Yankees. And that is.
Have a good one, fellas.
Peace.
You too. The one, the only Kev Do. Great call, Michael. No.
Oh, I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah. Love it. So just wanted to run down last night real quick. So I mentioned this before, but Oilers end up winning 4-3 in Chicago. Tighter than I had expected. Edmonton actually led 3-1 with about 11 and a half minutes left in the third, but you had 2 late goals in 12 minutes and 16 by the Blackhawks to tie it at 3, and I was sweating it out with the Oilers, so that was kind of tough. But fortunately, Edmonton gets on a power play only a minute and a half into overtime, and they're one of the best power play teams in the league, with McDavid and Draisaitl. But Zach Hyman ends up having the game winner, his 19th. So Edmonton wins 4-3 and moves to 34-16-4. And Chicago goes to 16-31-6. So that ended up being an entertaining game. And then there was only one other game last night, and we saw the Kings matched up with the Canadiens. And of course, they ended up, winning. The Kings did that. That is 6-3, and led 1-0 after 1. It was a 2-1 game after 2, 4 goals in the third, cementing the win for them. 16-3-1, best record at home. And me and Corey were saying it was awesome to go to crypto.com last year to see a game. That was great. And nice that the tickets are reasonable too. Hockey, I think, still growing there. But if the Kings, return to their cup winning ways, I think the attendance is only going to get stronger. Fiala had 2 goals and assists, and Quentin Byfield, the Tony favorite, had 3 assists as well. So that was the only action, last night. And then today, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it'll be good for a 10-pack with the Ranger game tomorrow. But if you could strike up the music for one more Frozen Frenzy. All right, so starting in Tampa Bay, a place that I'm excited to go see a hockey game next month. We're going to have the Lightning matched up with the Senators here. The Lightning coming to this game 28-20, and the Senators 29-21. The Tampa Bay Lightning here -155, and you got Ottawa coming here at +135 on the road. The total here is set at 5.5. And these two teams actually played 2 days ago with the Lightning winning 4-2. So they will look to win the second out of 3 games so far this year. They also have a game come April 3rd. But I look at this game and I just feel like the Lightning at home, I know the Senators had been hot coming into that game, but the Lightning are a great home team, 17-7-2, and I just think an overall better team. Even though Ottawa's playing well, I think better than people expected, in a solid playoff spot right now. But Tampa needs to win these games too with the wild card. So I think similar game to last time, maybe a little lower scoring, but a tight margin. But I'm going to say they win 3-2. It's going to be Tampa and the under. So then next game up here, looks like we're going to New Jersey as you have the Devils hosting the Golden Knights. The Devils slight underdogs here at home, -105. Vegas -115. The Knights 31-17-6, but 12-11-3 on the road. Devils 30-19-6, 15-8-4 at home. And I look at this game. Vegas has been a weird team this year. Obviously, the record's still good. Some games it feels like they don't show up, but they have actually lost their last 4 games. The Devils, on the other side, have won 3 out of their last 5, including a shootout win over Pittsburgh. But I love this for Vegas here. I think they're too good of a team to lose yet again. And they had lost to the Rangers and the Islanders, but they have been playing better recently, as well as Columbus and Dallas. And all these games were close. I guess the Rangers was 2 goals, but other than that, all 1-point games and 2 overtime games. So I think they come back. I think it's a solid win here. 5.5. I'll go over on the total. Give me the Knights 4-2. So Knights and the over. Next game up every night. It's must-watch TV. The Capitals and the Flyers. Ovechkin inching closer to Gretzky's goal record. And this is the 3rd matchup between these 2 teams this season. The Capitals have won both of these games. And you look at the Flyers. They have lost. It looks like they've lost their last 4 games here. While the Capitals have won only 2 out of their last 5, but did beat Florida 2 days ago, 6-3. This is an easy one for me. Capitals 18-7-2 away from Washington. I think they get a big win here. Flyers, to me, are not a good team. I know they've hung around probably more than people expected. But I think Ovechkin gets another goal here, and I think they win this one easily, 5-2. So give me the Capitals and the over. So next game up here, we go to Columbus. The Blue Jackets hosting the Utah Hockey Club. Columbus 26-21-7. Utah 22-22-9. And you look at this game, both teams, have, been struggling a little bit. Utah has only won 1 out of their previous 5 games. You did just beat Philly. And the Blue Jackets have lost their last 2 to Buffalo and Dallas, respectively. Blue Jackets won the only game in a matchup that was about a week ago in Utah, 3-2. But I like the Blue Jackets here. I think better team, good at home, 17-5-3. And I know the Marchenko injury is tough. But there's Lincoln stepping up. I think he actually gets a home shutout here. Give me the Blue Jackets in the under, 3-0. Moving along here, we are going to go to Minnesota. The Wild hosting the Hurricanes. The Wild 31-19-4, only 11-12-1 at home. So a really good road team. And the opposite goes for the Hurricanes, 32-8-4, but 12-12-3 away from the Lenovo Center. Carolina comes into this game -195. And you look at the matchup between these two teams this year. The only game that they played back on the 4th of last month, so the Wild win 4-0. And recently both teams have lost their last 2. The Wild getting shut out 9-0 their last 2 games, and the Hurricanes have been outscored 7-2 and also got shut out their last game. But I think the Hurricanes are better here. Nikas, I think, is his first really big, or not Nikas, but Rantanen, his first really big, game with Carolina. I think he has 2 goals, 2 assists, and I'm going to say the Hurricanes win this one on the road, 5-2. So give me the Hurricanes and the over. Moving along here, we're moving to 8 o'clock to St. Louis. The Panthers, the Blues, Florida heavy favorites here, -170. St. Louis +145 at home. And I know the Blues have been hanging in there at 24-25-5, but the Panthers far better, 32-23, defending champs. I think this is a game where they embarrass them, and I know they're coming off that loss to the Capitals. They've been kind of up and down themselves this year. But I think they win this game actually 7-3. So a lot of goals. Hammer the over here. Hammer Florida -170. Give me the Panthers in the over. Next game up, 9 o'clock. We're going to Scotiabank Arena. The Flames hosting the Avalanche. Flames have had a weird year as well. Record good, but inconsistent, 31-22-2. The Flames 26-20-7. Better than people expecting. Hubert Dow with the rebound season. But give me the Avalanche. I think this is a bounce back spot for them. Give me McCarr and McKinnon with goals. And I think they win this game easily, 4-1. So give me the Avalanche and the under. Next game up, you have the Kraken hosting the Maple Leafs. Right now, Toronto -155, Seattle +135 at home. Toronto performing far better this year, 32-19-2. Seattle 23-28-4. And the Maple Leafs won the only matchup this year, 4-1, back on the 31st of October. And you look at the recent play here, Maple Leafs have won 2 out of 5. Kraken have only won 1 out of 5. But I like Toronto here. I'm going to say they win this game 5-1. So give me Toronto and the under. Last game of the night before we go over to the Rangers tomorrow. We have the Canucks host and the Sharks. The Sharks here +160 at home. Vancouver -190. I know Pettersson just got the contract extension. They are the better team. I like what Macklin Celebrini, the former top pick, has done in his rookie year. 17 goals, 22 assists. Talafari has also been doing well for the Sharks on offense. And you look at the matchups this year, Canucks have won the first 2, 3-2, 4-3. And the Sharks have won 1 out of their previous 5. The Canucks have won 3 out of 5. But give me a dog here. I like the odds. San Jose has to win sometime. So give me them +160. I'm going to say you're going to get Celebrini with a goal and 2 assists. And we're going to see San Jose win 3-1, getting good goaltending from Alexander Georgiev, who's been batting practice this year. So give me the Sharks and the under in the big game that we're going to talk about tomorrow. The Rangers in another must-win spot 2 days after a big win. Obviously this will be tomorrow, NHL Network, 7 o'clock. Can't wait to be there. Rangers, Penguins, I would imagine line for this game, probably has to be the Rangers minus 175. If I had to take a guess, I would imagine the total is 5.5. And I think, the Rangers here will have a dominant defensive performance. Shesterkin, I think a lot more saves this time around than last game, but he does a great job. And I think, he actually shuts out the Penguins. I think they win 3-0. We're going to see JT Miller back on the score sheet, a goal and an assist. So give me the Rangers and the under. And just like that, that is your Thursday/Friday frozen frenzy. So obviously, can't wait to go to the game tomorrow. The Tony DiNapoli's before, probably the Jack Dempsey's. So really looking forward to that. And the one other topic I just want to mention quickly, and I know this has been a tight subject this week on the Sports Port, but UConn will be back in action tomorrow. Big game with St. John's. St. John's, one of the best teams in the country, probably going to move up in the ranking, especially if they could beat UConn. They are 20-3, 11-1 in the Big East, and they just had a big win over Marquette. UConn, 16-6, also had a big win over Marquette, and no line set for this game yet. I would think St. John's would be a slight road favorite here, maybe 2.5, 3.5. But, I think this is going to be a great matchup. Two great coaches, probably two of the best in the country, between Richard Pitino and Dan Hurley here. I think this is a classic game, down to the wire. And you're also going to see Liam McNeely back for this one. He's missed more than a month with an ankle injury. Love the way Solo Ball played last time. And I would imagine, too, this is going to be probably a higher scoring game. But I'm going to say UConn gets it done, maybe in overtime. I'm going to say 82-78. And I'm going to say McNeely in his return, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 for 3 behind the three-point arc, and a huge win for UConn as they try to shoot back up the rankings. And they would go 2 for 2 against St. John's and Marquette. And then we'll have one more matchup between both of the teams before the season ends. So an exciting time in college basketball right now. I'm really getting into it. And we actually had Rutgers last night, was tempted to go plus 188 on the money line. I ended up taking them, plus 5.5. Ended up winning outright by, I think it was 9, if I'm not mistaken. And they, were really hyped. Harper, he returned from injury and had 28 points. So disappointing. They were a ranked team to start the year, but they knock off a ranked team in Illinois. So they're 12-11, 5-7 in the Big Ten. Definitely weird that they're in the Big Ten still. I know it's been a while now. But obviously, you have talent on this team, so they're just hoping that they could put on some type of late run, make a run in the Big Ten tournament. But they're going to have to really win the vast majority of their games if they want a shot there. So we'll see. But Harper, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and you had Ace Bailey, 18 points, 3 blocks, 11 rebounds. So a solid performance there. And they led by 8 at half and end up winning by 9. So that was a good watch. And it just, as the college season goes on, it gets more exciting. And you got Ohio State, Maryland tonight. Ohio State 2.5-point favorite here, even though Maryland 17-5, Ohio State only 13-9. So that should be a good one. That's the only ranked matchup of the night. So a lot going on. And then I guess I just wanted to see too, I would imagine we just got underway from TPC Scottsdale, and I'm hoping that I can catch some of this in between the conference today. So right now, Ramus Hogard with the lead, 4 under par through 6 holes. You got Campos 2 under through 5, tied for second with Sepp Straka. That's a name Tony had mentioned. Skins 1 under through 7. Luke Clanton 1 under through 5. Jordan Spieth, my sleeper here, 1 under through 5 as well. Matsuyama 1 under, and then also so Matsuyama. And then I thought there was one more name. I just want to check this quick, but this is always a fun tournament leading in to the Super Bowl, and I hope we get to see a hole-in-one And yeah, Sanjay Im is 1 under as well. So very early on. And I think I should have a little time to go watch this at the sportsbook right now. So definitely want to take advantage of that. Love the ESPN Plus coverage. But yeah, I mean, that's really what we got. I guess John Pollock just had one more. Michael, Montreal got to get it together before too late. I feel like I just talked for 30 minutes straight, or no?
No, dude, that's what you're here for.
Michael, are you still with us, bud?
I'm here.
But yeah, I think that's all I got. Anything in closing, Michael?
No, that's it. Everybody have a good weekend. You know, if you're drinking, stay home or stay at the place. No need to drive, Uber, whatever you got to do, DD. We'll bring back I feel like we should save the Prism packs for Monday when you guys get back.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, really excited for the weekend and Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait. That's going to be a great time. Hope you guys have a great time hitting the slopes.
We will. We're going to be vlogging it. Where's DTV now?
Tell Tony not to get too crazy. The jumps, the black diamonds. Come on, Michael.
Yes, I know. He's going to definitely try some stuff.
Dude, I got this. No, that didn't hurt, dude. I only fell 20 feet in the air.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to try to do the black diamond double black because we did it the first time. You know, Renee and I made it down safely without falling. Tony, on the other hand, had the ski patrol and everybody, you know, cheering him on.
Oh,
put it that way.
Yes, no, I'm excited to see that footage. But yeah, have a great time.
Thanks, dude. You too.
And yeah, great week of shows here. Hope everybody enjoys the weekend, the Super Bowl. Let's go Rangers. Let's go UConn. And I know people don't want to hear it, but we need it for the picks. So let's go Chiefs.
Yep.
And yeah, thank you all for tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives in the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume, merch, DowntownTV.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, enjoy the weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our